Hi, I'm Kris from Double Down Dice. I'm very excited to launch this new solo series within our channel called Playing with Yourself. And this is the first game I'm going to do is Captive. It's a graphic novel adventure that has been translated from the French and published by Van Ryder Games. In Captive, and I don't want to give you too many spoilers, but in Captive, you play a father whose daughter has been kidnapped in the opening pages of the book. When the game itself starts, you are finding yourself inside a mansion, and it's kind of like a maze. And in the very first room, you have two options, and from there, your adventure starts. Depending on which page you select, you will turn to that page within the book and you will read the panels. And then again, you may choose where to go next. Now, you have to be kind of a keen observer because sometimes there's little numbers hidden within the panel, and they may reveal items that you can pick up and add to your inventory, which is limited to 3 items at a time, or it may give you information that you can find in the appendix, like reading an article or a letter. It's a really fun game. I quite enjoy it. I like at the very beginning, you get to customize your character with 3 stats. He starts with 5 strength, 5 dex, and 5 will. But you have 5 more points that you can attribute in those 3 boxes. Also, on your character sheet, you'll see 20 squares for time. Sometimes you will go in a room or a hallway and it will have a little timer in the corner. And when that happens, you check the box and you move on. The thing is if you run out of time, you lose the game. Also, you have 20 hit points. And as you go through the game, you're going to be fighting enemies and your environment, and it's going to wound you. And you're going to tick away at those 20 hit points until you die or you survive and beat the game. The last thing you'll see is notes. This is important for when you've gone into a room that you're no longer allowed to enter. Maybe because something in the environment had escaped or changed the settings of it. So, again, I don't want to give you any spoilers, so we'll avoid that. I will try to tell you kind of what the game's like. So, you walk in a room and you have one, two, well, usually more than one. You have 2 to 4 options. And you pick one of these options and you turn to that panel and then you read what happens there. I quite like this because there are times where it amps up the tempo of the game, and instead of going into a room to explore, you're actually suddenly in a room with an enemy. And you see the enemy and you read all or look at all the panels, and then at the bottom it will say, like, if your dex is 7 or greater, turn to page X. If it is less, turn to page Y. Well, you pick those stats at the very beginning, you don't know when they will come into play throughout the game. So thankfully, you might have good dex. So when you turn to that page, you'll be able to pick up a weapon or tackle the enemy. But if you don't have that dex, you may take wounds, or in some cases, actually on several panels, you will die instantly. I've died a number of times now in this game. I've yet to beat it, but I've played it enough times that I feel that it is possible to make a review. I really like this. This morning I was playing it at the cafe. I started my game there and then I came home and finished it. As you would know, I did not succeed. I died. But I found about 10 new rooms that I haven't been into before. Um, the one thing I do have to say is that I wish I made notes for which rooms I've been in, because sometimes I go back in a room back and forth. But at the same time, I don't want a documentation of the rooms I've been in, because then it could be like walking up to the point that I've been to previously in like a extra life or a continued game. And that to me is cheating. So what I try to do is figure out a way to mentally take notes of where I've been. But if you're like me, I don't want to play games back to back to back because I kind of want to forget what I've done before so that when I return to the adventure, it's almost fresh. Um, but yeah, I really, really like Captive. I played this with my fiance, and she was really invested in it when I was playing it on the sofa one time, and she asked to try it. So I let her go, and in 5 minutes, she got killed on her like 4th panel or something like that. And she was like, "What? I died?" I'm like, "Yep, you got to start again. She's like, can I continue where I left off? And I said, nope, that's cheating. But if you're the kind of person who wants to play that way, you can. I wouldn't, but that's up to the player. I am very happy with this. I'm really excited because there's 4 more in the series. Van Ryder has announced that they have another Kickstarter coming in the future, and I'm certainly going to be a backer for that. I do want to say that I will be looking at all the other ones, and if you're interested in further reviews, subscribe to the channel or like this with a thumb so that I know you're interested in what you're seeing. Anyway, until next time, I'm Christopher from Double Down Dice, and you've been watching Playing With Yourself.